Stephen is the man with the hat and the metal detector. Whoa, whoa. Walking the land, he's a treasure collector. Whoa, whoa. Metal detecting and digging lots of holes, looking for anything that's old. New videos every week, so please subscribe.
Well, it's that time again where it's getting towards the back end of the detecting season, the drone flying. Actually, this is my first season at flying a drone. I don't know what it'll be like flying a winter. Probably very good with the scenery and the snow and everything. Anyway, it's getting towards the end of the season, and whilst I do keep on detecting, just not quite as much, especially if it's cold, because I can't stand the cold. And people have said to me, you know, what's your organisation like? You know, always producing videos with the drone, detectors, now you've got the MX Sport, your photography and recording for PAS, your wombling and all that sort of stuff. You must be totally organised. And I said, well, you know, anybody who's busy gets things done. So they said, could they have a look around? Well, I've shown people various bits of my office and work area on the previous video. But let me just show you around very quickly. I'm going to focus on one little area here, and that's my finds cabinet. I've only just put it together, so I'll tell you more about that in a second. That's where I tend to do my work, and obviously that's my Mac, my microphone, various photography bits and pieces. The camera I'm holding now is exactly the same as this one, except it's a slightly newer model, but it's just the same. And I use a selfie stick or a tripod depending on what I'm doing. My photographic area is really quite organised. I have done a video before on taking photographs of your finds, and really it isn't that difficult once you get a setup. It's only a £20 camera. I like that camera. It's a Sony Cybershot, but when my last one packed up because of all the dirt from digging, and I used to use that instead of that, I went on eBay and got a second-hand one for 20 quid, and it takes pictures up to, I think it's 12 megabytes, but by the time you've edited your pictures together with different size, different angles and everything else of your artifact, you can get up to 20 megabytes. I mean, 20 megabytes is a huge quality, and you can see on there I've still got a Roman artifact I've yet to photograph. In there, various lenses, both for the iPhone, for close-up, macro, and all sorts of bits and pieces. And under here, loads of chargers. These chargers are for walkie-talkies, for camera, for the batteries, for this, that, and the other. Oh, of course, I forgot to tell you while I was here. I've got my weighing scales, which are actually £4 off eBay. They're cannabis scales, and they are so accurate for measuring something as light as a little Roman coin or whatever, point whatever of a gram. So also eyepieces and magnifying glasses, and of course a set of calipers. That's what everybody needs to take all the measurements from bits and pieces. So really that's it. That box is full of finds of my Roman site, the settlement, which I found earlier this year, and all these bits and pieces in here have got to be indexed because I'm giving these to the landowner so he can have a little display cabinet. I can't tell you why he wants them for a display cabinet, because I might just give a hint as to where it is, but believe me. That's a Logitech close-up camera. I just put it on a tripod over this piece of foam, and I have artifacts on here, and I use my Mac to get a photograph of me talking through that camera there, and I switch to this camera here to show the close-up of the artifacts. And of course I have this little lead so I can plug various items into the back. And really that's about it, except of course this is a 6000 Kelvin bulb, and I use that when the light is not so good from the window. 6 Kelvin is very near daylight, if not daylight. But what I want to focus on over here really, and tell you a bit more about, is really that cabinet. Now I know it looks really tatty. Oh, did you notice my MX Sport box? It's downstairs. Here's my drone, of course, with 2 batteries. Haven't done much flying in the last couple of days or so, and the cabinet is a real work of art. What I mean is, it's 1950s, early 60s, And the sad thing about it is it's got 2 drawers missing off the bottom. I'm really sad about that. If you know anybody who's got a couple of drawers I can have, please let me know. I think they are 9 3/4 by 15 inches external measurements. They are 2 inches deep. I've revitalised these. Now, I don't want to... Look, it's really awful at the bottom, rusty. My father, late father, had this in his workshop full of tools and just abused it. That's good because it's now got a lovely patina. And the patina or patina is the original 50 to 60 year old patina. So I don't want to take that back to the bare metal or paint it. I want to leave it like that. Sadly, the lock doesn't work, and I've tried to get a spare key cut, and they say they can't get it cut. Change the lock. I don't want to change the lock. I want to leave the whole thing original, but it doesn't have to be locked. It just would be quite nice if I could find the 2 remaining drawers and get that key cut for that lock to make it work. And really, it's only taken me about a day just to lightly wire wall every single surface, including the drawers, and then give it a light wax just to protect it from any further deterioration and preserve that patina. Now you can see on there, of course, all the drawers are labelled. I used to keep all my bits and pieces of my finds in these 2 big jewellery boxes, if you saw an earlier video, but to tell you the truth, my collection soon outgrow those. And when you outgrow something like that, you've got to think of another option, an expandable option. So, I mean, they're going begging at the moment. I might just use them for something else. So what I did, I took these drawers, and I've still got 2 spare ones at the bottom, plus the 2 missing, so it's possibly 4 more drawers if I can just find those 2. And I've divided them into various sections. This one here is silver coins, and you can see in there, there's my 50% silvers. My 0% silvers are actually a part of this collection here. It's full of several kilos of copper, silver and whatever old coins. So I keep my 50% ones there and all my solid silver ones there. And my pride and joy has to be that one. It's a Edward VII Standing Britannia florin. Not 2 shillings florin, it's florin. And it's a beautiful coin. I found that over at the little cricket club, the 4-acre piece of pasture across my land, the cricket field. They allow me to dig it out of season, giving it time to heal again before they've got to start to play. And I really love that coin. My next coin I like is that quarter real. It's a tiny little quarter real. You've heard of the pieces of 8? Well, that's a quarter of a 1 real. Pieces of 8 was 8 real. Now 8 real looked a bit like this. I got a photocopy of one I had earlier. I sold it for £209 for a collector. There's a reason for that. Too long to go into here, but that's an 8 real Spanish pieces of 8, and that was equivalent to a month's wages. So if you actually think about that, 8 real is a month's wages. A quarter real is 32 of these to an 8 real. So that little devil was a day's wages. Isn't that amazing? I love it. Anyway, next drawer, my Roman and Saxon finds. Now, you can see I've got all my coins in there as well. Many of you know that I found quite a lot of Roman stuff, especially silver Roman Denarii, which are now part of the treasure trove in the local museum, yet to be displayed, sadly. At the top there are a few of my favourite bronze Romans, and here some of my favourite silver denarius, which I found in addition to the hoard that I found. And these are recent finds. This is a Saxon quillion. That's a dagger quillion. Beautiful artefact. A Roman disc brooch. A Saxon cruciform brooch. And various other little bits and pieces of Roman brooch. And that is a Saxon stirrup mount. A little Saxon figurine. No idea what that... Sorry, it's a Roman figurine. No idea what that is. But there are some like that on the database as unknown objects, but it came off the field with all this stuff here. the Roman, the Saxon, and that piece came off the same piece. And then I've got the Sestercius and a Dupondus, various Numus, and again some more Roman bronze at the bottom here, with another statuette figurine of a dog, possibly an otter. So that's my Roman and Saxon. I do keep other things as well in other boxes. I'm just trying to display in here some of my best finds. And here's some of my hammered coins. I do really like that one. It's absolutely stupendous. And various other coins as well. And there are a lot more than that, but of course some of them I've had to go to treasure trove because they come up in a hoard. And 1 or 2 or 3, 5 of those I've actually given away to landowners. Buckles. Well, there are some clothing clasps and various other bits of broken buckles and other buckles through the ages as well, which I've collected there. My favourite buckle is that one, which is a Tudor zoomorphic buckle, and I really like that. It's the only thing I found on a huge dig where people were finding loads and loads and loads of hammered coins, which turned out to be recorded as treasure, handed back. That's all I found. I didn't find any treasure at all, just that buckle. So then my spindle whorls, and that's my favourite item of lead. That is absolutely lovely. I've only ever found 2 decorated ones. Those 2. This one was donated to me by Gary, a friend of mine who I dig with sometimes, and the rest of them though I've actually found. So apart from that one, I found all the others. Some people doubt that they're spindle whorls, but I can tell you they are spindle whorls. This one, for example, is an Iron Age spindle whorl, and all these are recorded on the database, apart from this one, of course, which I think he may have recorded, but not by me. And then we've got my silver and gold artefacts, which is not much really. The most famous of all is that Tudor merchant ring, which is actually solid silver with a gold gilt. There is a copy of the bezel impregnated into a piece of blue tack. 3 gold rings. I've actually found 6 in total. The other 3 are not obviously here. That one's one of the, that's 4. So there's 4. The other 2 are not here because I found them on behalf of other people who had lost them and had returned them to the owner. My favourite piece of silver, I think, is possibly that watch fob. I do like that, and also that lovely item there. So if we go to the next drawer, I've got my coins and tokens and Jettons. Now I know there's not much in there. I mean, I found loads and loads and loads of coins. I mean loads, so much so that I've got boxes of them which I've not put in the drawer. I'll just put a sample of the unusual ones. For example, that square coin. These gave me a heart attack because I thought they were my first gold, but they weren't. And some Jettons, Hans Crown Winkle, and various other bits and pieces. And of course, no collection would be complete without a cartwheel penny. And a dropped purse. With a dropped purse, I found 4 £1 notes. I know there's 4 because it's actually 4 serial numbers, and they're all different. So I think probably my most favourite coin out of the whole lot is not really a coin at all, and that is this little thing, and that is a James II gun money shilling, and I've got a video all about that as well. I'll put a link to the things I've mentioned in the description so you can go and have a look at that. James II gun money, my favourite coin stroke token I've ever found. And what we got next, we've got various lead. Goes all the way back to palm guards and various weights. We've also got pot mends, hem weights, fishing weights, lead stylus. We've got various things there which are lead bag seals or cloth seals. I've even got one which is a flax seal. I was going to donate that to somebody, but I decided no, I'm going to keep that one after all. A little lead soldier, a Victorian lead pencil sharpener. That's unusual. I had difficulty in identifying that. I knew what that was as soon as I saw it, and that's an old whirligig, one of the old early toys. I mean, we all made these as a kid, didn't we, out of cardboard. And various lead commemorative medals depicting various scenes, and That we're not sure. It could be off perhaps a candlestick or something like that. A couple of horse heads, and Fred Archer, the jockey head, and of course a lead trading token. So there's various odd things in there which I've decided to display. And here is buckles and rings. Now I've not found many rings, only gold rings I've found up, showed you a minute ago. I'm not really a beach detectorist, although I intend to try and change that with this MX Sport. See if I can find anything. So it's just a few little rings there, mainly Victorian, and that's a modern thumb ring, that sort of thing. But this here is really about buttons, mainly military, and also badges and things like that. Now that one is an unusual one. Can you see why that's unusual? Because it's Edward the Eighth who abdicated, so he's only actually king for 10 months, but he was never actually coronated as the king. So really they started to make these things with the ERV111, like post boxes and all various other things, only to find that he's going to abdicate. So finding anything really with ERV111 is quite unique. So there's various buttons in there, including a nice little lead one, the ATS, a little Victorian brooch, and various things like butlins, all sorts of stuff. And then we've got miscellaneous, #1, and all sorts of things there, like a dog spout off a Ewer vessel, Roman, sorry, medieval, various whistles, thimbles galore in there, trade weights, sword belt hangers, strap ends, fossilized horse tooth. Do you know what that is? That's a Jew's harp. Couple of strongbox padlocks, a part of a palstave axe, and just above those a selection of really nice pocket watch winders. So, and then I've got drawer #2, miscellaneous #2. That one I found out I thought was Roman. I was very, very excited when I found that, thinking I found a part of a Roman staff, but it's not. It's part of a long boy, tall boy, like grandfather or grandmother clock, and it's a finial off one of the corners at the side of the face. It had me really excited at first. Little teapot, look at that. Sadly I knocked the spout off, so that's just sitting in there balancing at the moment. And various other bits and pieces as well. Oh, there's another Jew's harp in there. A radial calendar. No, that was 1904, I think. Might be 1908, I can't remember. But it's a radial calendar. That's what the businessmen in the day used to carry around. And a Tudor clothes hook fastener. Various other bits and pieces. So that's it. And as I said, these drawers are empty, just waiting now to be filled with other bits and pieces. So that's it. I could do you more of a detailed tour around the room where I do my green screen and other lighting effects and other things, but to tell the truth, that would only bore you silly anyway. But I did want to show you how this monstrosity of a steel cabinet, 60 years old, can be recycled, and you can probably get them free. People are usually throwing them away. I wanted a couple of extra drawers. I put a message on Facebook and someone came back to me and said, only if you told me 2 weeks ago, I've just taken the whole thing down to the tip, including all the drawers. You could have gladly had a couple. So they are still available. I'm hoping to find 2 drawers for this one. If you've got any idea at all, please contact me. And don't forget, you can follow me on Facebook and Twitter. The link is in the bottom left hand side of your screen. And if you like anything you've seen on the video, please feel free to leave a thumbs up. If you don't like anything, don't bother. If you hated it, put a thumbs down. Some people will anyway. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please at least consider doing so. And I'll catch you later out in the field, either with the MX, the Deus, or the drone. Or both combined. Catch you later.
Stephen is the man with the hat and the metal detector. Whoa, whoa. Walking the land, he's a treasure collector. Whoa, whoa. Metal detecting and digging lots of holes, looking for anything that's old. New videos every week, so please subscribe.